Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue this series on product rule, and we're going to be doing the fourth episode of this series. On this fourth episode, we're going to do question 4. So for this video, the question is y of t equals t to the 5th minus t cubed plus t multiplied by e to the t. So basically what this is trying to say is, like the previous examples I've given and my introduction, I've been using the variable x. In this particular case, we're going to be using the variable t. So therefore, we're now any place that originally x is supposed to be in the general, in basically all the formulas you've seen in the video of episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 of this series will just be simply replaced by 2. Don't worry, we're gonna do more examples and I'm gonna go into more detail as the video progresses. So the first thing you have to do is to identify, is this a product rule or is this a function that we're going to that's going to require us to use a product rule, right? Obviously it is, because this is basically what the series is about. But what I want to explain to you is basically what I've said, how you can first of all see that there is a function. This is an entire function, right, which is the function of y of t. But within this function, we have two different functions that are multiplied by each other. The subfunction here is t to the 5th, right? This is the subfunction, which is going to be, in this case, subfunction 1. And this e to the t is another subfunction, which is subfunction 2, right? So what this is trying to say is every single thing, the polynomial in the bracket is one function, one subfunction. E to the t is another subfunction. Together they are the entire function that we're supposed to differentiate. But when you have two subfunctions multiplied by each other, I'm putting a dot here, like I remember when I explained to you that in calculus, some professors, usually majority of professors, like to use the multiplication symbol as a dot. We're going to replace that multiplication symbol that you knew in elementary school, in middle school, high school as a cross, like a times or like an x, to show something is multiplied by something. In calculus, many professors and many teachers tend to use a dot to signify, in order for them to avoid confusing students with the cross sign that could be easily mistaken as x. So basically, this is it. Subfunction 1, subfunction 2 multiplied together, basically the product rule. So therefore, you're dealing with the product rule right here. So now, before we do it, let's first of all write what the general statement of the product rule, what it looks like, right? And then what the function looks like and what the statement of a product rule looks like. So y of t would basically just be f of t multiplied by g of t. So this is what a statement or what a function would look like that we're going to apply the product rule. Before application of product rule, so basically this is trying to tell you this is pre-differentiation, right? Pre-differentiation. I did not complete the differentiation, but I believe you basically get the point. So this is basically it, right? Now we're going to apply the product rule. And I'm sure if you've been watching my video 1, video 2 and video 3, so episode 1, 2 and 3, this will be easier for you to understand because this is a little bit quicker than my usual videos. So now you have apply product rule. Then you're supposed to have y of t, right, equals f of t multiplied by g of t. So all of this prime. What does prime say? Prime is basically trying to say that we're differentiating it. We could also, instead of using prime, by the way, I explained this in the first two videos, you can just put d of dt. And you'll be wondering, oh my god, every time I see my professor in textbooks, they always say d of dx. Then it's going to be d of dx only because of x is the variable in that particular function. But in this particular case where t is the variable, we're not going to do the differentiation of the function with respect to x. Instead, we're going to say the differentiation of the function with respect to t, because t is the main variable. So I think that is very important for me to mention. So now this is it, right? I already just showed you d dt. Like I said, d dt could also be the same thing as y of t equals f prime of t multiplied by g prime of t. Sorry, f of t multiplied by g of t. That's it, nothing like prime. So this is, and everything in bracket. So y of t equals f of t multiplied by g of t. All of that in bracket, then you have a prime. So I'm trying to tell you that when you see prime like this, and you see the differentiation of a function with respect to t, which is d dt. So d dt, I'm saying that if your professor decides to use prime, or if your professor decides to use d dt, both are all right. I'm trying to just let you know that they're talking about the same thing, hence the equals to sign. So now we're going to have y of t equals f of t multiplied by g of t, right? All of this prime, I prefer to use the prime. I don't like to use the d of dt, just because the less variables and the less alphabets that we have to use, I think the clearer it is. But just choose whatever works for you. So this is the same thing as saying f prime of t multiplied by g of t. That is basically it's everything in bracket plus g prime of t multiplied by f of t. So do you see what's going on here? So what is going on? I'm going to rewrite it in the next page. So we have y of t equals f of t multiplied by g of t, everything here prime, same thing as f prime of t multiplied by g of t, plus everything in bracket plus g prime of t, right, multiplied by f of t. So you can see what's going on here. We did, first of all, in product 2, we do the differentiation of one of the sub-functions, in this case f of t, multiplied by just the second function without being differentiated. Then we put that in bracket plus the second function differentiated multiplied by the first function not differentiated. That's literally what we've done, and I explained this in the first 3 videos as well, but it's good to always have a refresher for students who join in the 3rd video. So now that I've set the basis and the standard of basically the structure of what we're going to do to solve, I can now start replacing it. So right now I'm going to have y of t, switching to red now, equals t to the 5th minus t cubed plus t all of that multiplied by e to the t all prime. So you have f prime of t, so that's going to be t to the 5th minus t cubed plus t, right? All of that prime multiplied by g of t. What is g of t in this case? G of t is actually e to the t. So let me even make that kind of clear. Let me use a different color. So we're going to use blue here. In this case, f of t right here is going to be t to the 5th minus t cubed plus t. So here is going to be f of t, and then e to the t is going to be g of t. And by the way, you can change it however which way you want. If you want g of t to be this one here, if you want this f of t to be this way, but just for teaching purposes, please just make the first function that is given in the question to be f of t, and then the second function g of t. Maybe when you've become a pro in solving product rule, then you can interchange the positions of the two sub-functions. But when you're learning, like in this process, please do not interchange the sub-functions. Stick to f of t always being the first and g of t being the second. I'm saying that especially for students who struggle, so that at least you have a clear pathway of your solution, so that in case you make any mistake, you can just easily go back without much confusion. So yes, so this is it, and then you multiply that by e of t all prime multiplied by t to the fifth minus t cubed plus t, right? And that is basically it. So that is it. Don't know why I made the bigger bracket outside of that. That's not necessary. So I'm sorry, let me just rewrite the last thing I wrote here. The space is not that good, it's not that clear, so that'll be multiplied by t to the fifth minus t cubed plus t. Okay, this is now going to be equals to t to the fifth minus t cubed plus 3. When you differentiate t to the fifth minus t, so t to the fifth you differentiate is going to be 5 t to the fourth minus t cubed. So negative t cubed differentiated will be negative 3t squared, and then positive t differentiated will be plus 1. All of that in bracket e to the t. So that's 1, and then you do all of that plus differentiating e to the t is the same thing as just saying e to the t, and then t to the fifth minus t cubed plus t. Yay, so this is it, and it's just basically what we've been talking about the first 3 videos, and basically all the previous video is just for you to first of all identify and see whether this is going to be a question that requires the product rule. If it requires the product rule, write the general statement of the product rule like I have done in the previous page. Write the general statement of the product rule before you apply the product rule, right? And then apply the product rule, which is basically the differentiation process or differentiation step, and then just substitute and then identify the f of t and the g of t within the product rule. You can actually even identify that one early on, and if you do so many problems mentally, you already know what they are, right? So when you identify f of t, g of t, you already know, okay, so I'm going to differentiate. I'm going to write the whole differentiation product rule step, and then all you have to do is just substitute, differentiate as you solve along, or you can do what I did in the first episode 1, where I basically did f of t, then f prime of t, and then g of t, and then g of prime of t. I wrote all of that in a section, and I just substituted as I solved along. Or you can do this and you solve along within the calculation. So 5t to the fourth minus 3t squared plus 1. So e to the t, right? Plus e to the t. So now that we've done all the differentiation, all we have to do is just the simply multiplication process, right? So 5t to the fourth minus 3t squared plus 1. So we can solve this. Sorry, we can multiply this, and we simply have 5t to the fourth e to the t minus 3t squared e to the t, right, plus e to the t, then which is basically e to the t right here, multiplied by this, and multiplied by this. So we have all of that, right? And then we do plus e to the t right here, e to the t right here, and e to the t right here. So e to the t would be t to the 5th right here when you multiply e to the t, minus t cubed e to the t, and then plus t e to the t. So basically this is what it is, and this is basically your answer. Your answer is the entire thing. That's basically your answer. Your answer is all of this. So in order for you to maybe to kind of pick the most, pick it in a way, or you put it in a way, you can just basically write it in order of highest power. So here will be t to the 5th e to the t, which is this right here, right? And then you put the next one, the second highest power is 5t to the 4th e to the t, so plus 5t to the 4th e to the t, right? That's done. Minus t cubed e to the t, which is this one right here. And then the next one would be minus 3t squared e to the t. Okay, so that's this one here. And then the next one plus t e to the t, which is this one right here under the black. And then the last one would be plus e to the t, which is the very last thing right here. So that's it. And again, this is just the style, but if you were put in a situation where you had to just factor, right, what you could have just done. So this is this is literally the answer right here. Let me put the answer in a blue box. But if you're in a situation where your teacher was like, I want you to factor out your answer, all you just gotta do is this. You could have just done it in the first point right here. You didn't have to multiply through. So let me go to the next page and explain what I'm saying. So if your teacher in the question, or just your style, you don't want to let me go y prime of t, right? Maybe with your style, you don't want to multiply through, you just want to factor out, right? When you have that, so I'm going to work from here. You see where I have the black arrow, this shaded arrow? I'm going to copy that into the next page and then explain what I'm saying. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not where the black arrow is supposed to be. You see where I have the new black arrow? This is where I'm trying to explain now. So please follow me in the next page. So this is what I'm saying. 5 t to the 4th minus 3t squared plus 1 multiplied by e to the t plus e to the t multiplied by t to the 5th plus, sorry, not plus, I believe it's minus, right? It's minus. Let me erase that. So minus t cubed plus t, right? So this is basically where the black arrow is showing from. So now this is like an answer, but this is an answer without you doing multiplying through. If your teacher asks you to please, or you have one of those like online resources that would prefer you factor things out rather than multiplying through, or you just personally like to factor things out, you look for the factor here, and the factor is e to the t, e to the t. You just bring e to the t out simply, so you end up with y of t, or y prime of t, because you've already differentiated it. You just bring e to the t right out here and just do 5t to the fourth minus 3t squared plus 1. And then when you factor this one out, it just ends up being plus. The plus that is right here is the plus I just put on that the red one. So plus, so that then next thing you have would be t to the fifth minus t cubed plus t. So this is it. This is actually your answer. You can rewrite that by according to highest factor. So you have y prime of t because e to the t, because so yeah, that would be 2 to the fifth plus 5t to the fourth minus t cubed, 2 to the fifth plus 5t to the minus t cubed minus 3t squared plus t plus 1. So basically this is your answer. T to the fifth plus 5t to the fourth, and this is basically the answer right here. And yay, this is the answer to this. And I think the main thing the reason why I wanted to do this particular question for example 4 is that now that we are practicing, I want you guys to be seeing different variables, and I purposely put this variable t instead of x so that students will not think that there's only one way to ask a question or one type of problem that you're gonna have. So this is basically how it works. Just follow the steps in the video. Watch this video again if you're confused. Solve your own problems from class. It's a little bit complicated, but it's not super complicated. You can handle it. Just know, can I apply the product rule? See what the product rule looks like. This is the before. Then you apply the product rule, which involves differentiation. Write what the differentiation stuff is like. Write it out what the differentiation statement looks like. And when you can write that statement what it looks like, you can just substitute your f of t and your g of t into your actual equation of what the differentiation of product rule looks like basically, and you multiply it, you add it up, you have your answer. That is it. With time you're gonna understand it, inshallah. And I wish you guys all the very best. I wish you guys best in your exams, your assignments, your quizzes, whatever it is that is your endeavor. And if this is just a revision for you, I hope this was highly helpful. I'm a personal tutor, and if you'd also like personal training tutoring sessions, you can just email me in the description box. Currently I'm looking for somebody who knows how to properly edit videos, and I would like somebody who's really good with the whole editing. I have edited some of my videos and they've been really good, but they take time to edit, and I just want somebody who's very good. So if you're a good video editor, my videos are pretty simple. All I want is like an intro and outro, and basically for it to look solid, and that's it. So if you know anyone who's really good with video editing, or you're good yourself, please email me as well. In my email is going to be in the description box. If you need personal tutoring classes and you love my detailed analysis of teaching, please make sure to email me as well. I hope everyone has a good day, and I wish you guys all the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.